Well, hi there. Welcome to the Whitesboro Public Library Storytime. I'm Miss Laura, and today we are going to share with you a story about a grandpa, a red tractor, and a little boy. Now, we live in a small community up here, small farming community, and we up here in Whitesboro know the importance of tractors. But this little boy, Timmy, is going to find out today on this trip with his grandpa just how important a tractor is. Grandpa's Tractor. Michael Garland is our author. This is a beautifully illustrated book, very sweet little story. Grandpa Joe and Timmy were going to the old farm where Grandpa Joe grew up. This is a bright yellow little sports car Grandpa Joe's driving. Timmy looks very excited, doesn't he? Who wouldn't be excited to go on a trip with their grandfather? Let me scoot over. Okay. Grandpa Joe told Timmy that the farm had been sold long ago, but there was still something up there he wanted to show Timmy. So here they are driving out. Here's their little yellow car driving out of the city, it looks like, driving out of all those houses. Okay, kind of hard to see, but when they arrived, the first thing they saw was an old boarded up farmhouse and an old faded red barn. Half the roof was caving in. It's hard to believe, Grandpa said, but this was a beautiful place. There were no houses for miles. Here's that red barn, and here's the old boarded up house. And here's Grandpa Joe and Timmy. They're headed out to go find something. Grandpa Joe and Timmy walked through the weeds past the barn. There it is, said Grandpa. What's that? Asked Timmy as he pointed to a rusty hulk of machinery. Why, that's the most important thing a farmer can own. It's a tractor, Grandpa said with kind of a sad smile as he was remembering that tractor. When I was a boy, that tractor was new with shiny red paint. My father used it for almost all the chores on the farm, Grandpa said very proudly. Timmy stared at that old tractor. It was covered with rust, only had a few pieces of red paint left on it. The tires were flat and saplings were growing up through it. Timmy could not imagine that being a beautiful red tractor. This is Grandpa Joe, or actually this is Grandpa Joe when he's young, and this is his father. When I was your age, my dad would let me sit on his lap and steer the tractor as he plowed the fields, Grandpa said. His smile getting a little bit happier now as he's remembering the tractor. The more Grandpa Joe talked about the tractor, the more excited he became. After we plowed, he would say, we would plant seeds of corn and alfalfa to feed the cows. Big tractor. Timmy was starting to use his imagination, and he imagined that tractor when it was shiny red, with its motor running, with its tires round. When it was harvest time, we gathered the corn and the hay and stored all of that in the silo for the cows to eat during the winter, Grandpa pointed to a tumbling down tower that used to be a silo. See, this is what Grandpa's remembering. He's remembering a big old tall silo. This is where they would store the wheat for the cows. In the fall, my father would hitch a wagon to the back of that tractor and we would take the whole family around to pick apples from the orchard. Grandpa laughed. I probably ate more than I picked. By now, Timmy could see that shiny red tractor, even though standing right in front of that rusted brown little shell of a tractor. Grandpa said my father could fix that tractor no matter what. He knew every nut and bolt. He could take it apart and he could put it back together again. I used to help. Timmy sat there and looked at that rusted piece of tractor and he thought, wow, I wish I could fix a tractor. And in the winter, we would hook a sleigh up to that tractor and my father would haul firewood to the house to heat it. Timmy imagined that summer, hot summer land out there covered in snow. I think of snow in the hot summer too. Grandpa, thanks for bringing me here today, said Timmy. I never knew tractors could be so important. Tractors in a farming community are very important, and so are grandpas and grandmothers. I grew up with a very special grandmother, and she would have told me a story similar to that. Thank you for joining us. Story time. It's time to say goodbye to our friends. It's time to say goodbye to our friends. Story time is done today. So come again another day. It's time to say goodbye to our friends. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate the time you shared with us. Remember, washi, washi, washi. Be safe out there, and we will see you next week. Take care.